Hello, hello, and hello. This is Helen Thomas and the CDFM study group. At this session, we're going to be reviewing CDFM Module 4, Competency 10, Special Management Activities. This portion of the exam accounts for only about 5% of the questions that you will get on the CDFM Module 4 exam from the 2011 study guide. I will tell you now, I don't have a whole lot of highlights in here, so this will probably be done in less than 10 minutes. All right, so the title is Special Management Activities. So these are additional or miscellaneous things that are done at the DoD level. And so a joint acquisition program. So it starts off by talking about joint programs where you have all the services involved. And at the bottom of page 410.1 is in the middle of that paragraph, it says a joint acquisition program is a directed joint effort for the development and procurement of certain systems and equipment and software and so forth. On page 2, as part of the JSITS process, so using your same knowledge, the joint staff with the assistance of Joint Forces Command and additional joint staff resources evaluates the joint capabilities, integration, and development system documents. So you have different entities that support the whole process and the analytical process. And so they help to review all the process when they go through the JSITS process. On the designation, it says the milestone decision authority is the one who decides whether the program will be a joint acquisition management program. It talks about memorandums of agreement. So if it's a joint program, the designated lead component should act on behalf of the DoD involved in the acquisition. So a memorandum of agreement should specify the relationship that everybody else have in that process and what the lead can and cannot do. International cooperation. So if you have international considerations in that development of that equipment, then on page 410.6, it talks about during the development of the initial acquisition strategy, second paragraph, for a new program, the potential for international cooperative research development. So anytime you have foreign entities going to be using some of that equipment or that system, they have to think about all that. The plan has to be in place prior to using that equipment or allowing international entities to participate. So it continues on page 7, 8. And a lot of this, I notice, is kind of repetitive. So it should be terms at this point when you get to competency 10. A lot of these acronyms that they throw out, you should be familiar with them. If you're not, go back to the front part and make sure you know what those are. Let's see, international. So we're still on international. Don't forget on page 12, early on, we talk about delegation disclosure authority. So anytime you have potential foreign partners that are going to be using the equipment, a DDL has to be part of it. Technology roadmap. So like I said, this is like the least questions come from this one, so I don't pay a lot of attention to it. So forgive me. All right, let's see. Page 15 talks about contract management reporting. And so we're going to be looking at some of the reports. So what my highlight was the 2 reports on page 17. You have the CSDR. Let's see, let me see something here. Which is the cost and software data reports may be used. All right. So the CSDR is the contractor cost and software data. And the other one is and the software resource data report. I don't like how they put this stuff together. I'm sorry. All right, so let me see. My highlights on page 17. All right, so the CSDR system primarily involves two formal contractor reports, namely the Contractor Cost Data Report, the CCDR, and the Software Resource Data Report. Contractor cost data reports focus on the collection of actual costs, while the Software Resources Data Report let's see, supplement these costs with software metrics that provide a better understanding and improved estimating of software intensive program. Supplement more detail. So it provides more detail. So what I interpret that to mean is the CCDR provides an overall total cost, whereas the software resources data reports kind of break down where the actual cost comes from. Yeah. So that's how I got it. So I only focus on page 17, second paragraph, the two types of reports that's used under the CSDR, contractor cost and software data reporting. On page 18, the diagram that's there, they have a chart with both of those, the CCDR and the SRDR. What I got was CCDR is 50 million or more. You got to read through when these are required. That's basically what I'm directing you to. And the software one with some other requirements, it mentions 20 million or more, and then it has some other requirements that it must meet. So that's the CSDR. Then on page 19, you have contract performance report. And the contractor performance report says the program manager should obtain a CPR on all contracts that meet or exceed the earned value management threshold. What is it? The EVM threshold, I think it's like 20 million. But make sure you review the EVM section again. So that's what I have in my little notes here, EVM. So when do you need a CPR, EVM, so it exceeds 20 million? And where did I get it from? Page 20. I think it mentions in the second paragraph. Under the integrated master schedule, talks about the 20 million there for agreements valued at or greater than 20 million. So the IMS is a time-based schedule containing the work breakdown. So it's basically a work breakdown schedule. IMS is used to verify that they're able to meet the contract objectives, to evaluate the progress, and to integrate the program schedule activities with all related components. Another report on page 21 is the contract fund status report. So you see, you're going to need to make your separate notes because this, when you put it all together, it's confusing. So I had to break it down, the different types of reports. So as I'm preparing for the next round of module 4, I see that I can't, even for myself, I need to break out. I'm trying not to do it until they come up with the new module 4 study guide, because I don't want to waste my time going back through it. All right, let's see what we have. Contract fund status report, CSDR, on contracts over 6 months in duration. Government contract quality assurance. What do I have here? I have who reviews the contracts. In that last paragraph on page 21, it mentions the Defense Contract Management Agency. The DCMA does the quality assurance on these contracts. To make sure, you read the last paragraph on page 21. There's really nothing I can add to it. Page 25, special management activities. Listed in the bullet, you have acquisition of services. How did I see? So I think what I saw with this one at a later date was you got to make sure that you know all five. And so I don't think they are necessarily in any particular order, but if one is missing, then you need to know which one. So you have the acquisition of services planning, review and approval, peer reviews, data collection, and making sure that they comply with the Klinger-Cohen Act. So those are the 5 elements of service acquisition. So I always say, if you can, learn them in order. So let me see. So acquisition services, acquisition and planning is on page 26. Review and approval begins on page 27. Do I have anything on here? Nope. Yes. On review and approval, the only thing I have on page 41029, just before the peer review, the last little paragraph or sentence is there. The director, defense procurement, acquisition policy, and strategic sourcing, the DPAP, shall maintain a list of the acquisitions of services program expected to exceed $1 billion. So basically all I got from that is the DPAP, anything over $1 billion he or she is responsible for updating the acquisitions services list. So they got to keep track of anything over $1 billion, DPAP. Also mention the third one, which is peer reviews, independent management reviews. It says under peer review on page 29, the director of DPAP will organize review teams and facilitate pre-award and post-award peer reviews. So again, that's the DPAP again. The DPAP responsible for anything over $1 billion listing, review, and he puts the peer review groups together to review those contracts. And then you have data collection and Klinger-Cohen. So let me see what they have. Peer review, that's 30. Data collection on page 31. 0. And Klinger-Cohen Act, I think this is the only real law that they focus on for acquisition. Title 40, Klinger-Cohen Act. So on page 33, make sure you review that particular question or section, Klinger-Cohen Act. A compliance list of the requirements of this complete list of the requirements for this compliance can be found in DODI 5000.02. Let's see what I have up here. An acquisition of IT services, regardless of acquisition of service category, are subject to Title 40 U.S. Code, formerly Division E of the Klinger-Cohen Act. So Klinger-Cohen comes into play when you deal with information technology. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. All right, that's about all that I have highlighted for CDFM Module 4, Competency 10, Special Management Activities. All right, I thank you guys for stopping by to see these videos on the CDFM study group. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing, even though you can still see the videos. But again, the more people subscribe, click like, put comments, and there's a lot of activity on these videos, then YouTube will publicize those videos more so other people who are studying can find the videos. All right, this is Helen Thomas on the CDFM study group. I'll see you guys again next time.